Alright, good morning, Ruthless Church. This is me, saying that it's me. I don't know why I keep saying this is me. Anyway, this morning I want to talk about Christ in the crisis, or Christ is in the crisis. So here's where it comes from. Long time ago, I asked one of my friends, did he think that Jesus ever checked out girls when he was at the synagogue and was like, oh, my bad, I shouldn't have been doing that. And my friend was like, no, man, Jesus would never do such a thing, blah, blah, blah. And he was so offended at the thought that Jesus would look at women that, and I didn't even understand that. So my friend, he never read the Bible, really. You know, he's one of those people that go to church when he was visiting back home if it so happened to be on a holiday. But other than that, he didn't go. It's not that he didn't have, think about God or pray or anything like that. He just wasn't like a person that got into that stuff. So he didn't really ask questions. He just took what they gave him in Sunday school and ran with it. No problem. But anyway, he was pretty offended by that. And I saw or know that recently that somebody at Harvard said that they found a scroll or something showing that Jesus had a wife. And I know some people are probably like, oh, Jesus couldn't have a wife. Oh, heaven forbid. Oh, Lord. Oh. And, stuff like that. And it's like, I mean, really? Come on. You weren't even there just to put it out there. And if he did have a wife, does it make it anything you said less true? If you find truth in something and then you say, oh, well, the dude had a wife, forget it. Nothing was true. If you pay attention to the Bible, you notice he really used marriage as a metaphor quite a bit. Quite a bit. But I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't even care if Jesus was married. So it's not really a factor to me. I'm just saying that to anybody who might let themselves be distracted by the idea that Jesus had a wife. It's probably because you don't want to have your wife or your husband and you just want to project that onto Christ or whatever. I don't know. I'm just putting something out there. Sorry, y'all. But the other reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of us who say we follow Christ, and I'm not saying you don't follow Christ because it's obviously not my business and I probably don't know. But there's a lot of us who say we follow Christ, and yet how can we follow somebody that we absolutely can't relate to? Like if Superman came down to you, you're having a hard day, you're like, oh man, there was a drive-by or something, or I had to be in traffic, or all these different things, and then Jesus is like, not Jesus, but Superman comes down and goes, hello, American citizen, I know you're having a rough time, but just everything will be alright, you be like me, and everything will be good. And they say, but Superman, you don't have to worry about traffic, you can fly. Yeah, yes, I know that, American citizen, but I just want you to, at any rate, all I'm saying is, don't let it, you're going to be like, man, you don't know nothing about traffic. Then you say, oh man, the other day, somebody punched me in my face, and man, I'm like so mad at them, because, and then he goes, excuse me, American citizen, turn the other cheek, because when somebody punches you in the face, of course, that is just their problem, and then what you gonna say? He can't even feel bullets. So it's like if he sits there and tells you, don't get mad if somebody punches you in the face. If I had the power, then I'd probably punch him in his face. So I'm saying that to say that Jesus, I believe the power of Christ is in the relatability of Christ. But so many of us say we follow Christ, but we can't relate to him. And to you, I say, read Hebrews 4, I think it's like 14, 15, and 16, like right at the end of Hebrews 4, because it says that Jesus basically sympathizes with our weaknesses because he was in all points tempted. I said that in slow motion, just in case you didn't get that. He is all points tempted in every way that humans are tempted, and yet without sin. So what does that mean, right? Well, if you look at the points after it, it says, and in the verse after it says that, it tells us to, be bold and receive help when we need it, because the point is, if he did that, somewhere in there is this expectation that we can too. It's not like Superman, where he does all this stuff, and then somebody tells us we should do it, and then we feel insecure about ourselves. It's saying, he did it, so, receive the help so that you can do it. And I take that to mean, if I feel any temptation in the world, I'm like, yeah, Jesus, man, I was feeling this, and I know you know what that's like, hee hee, but somehow, because of your faith in God, you were able to get past that. And I know I can too, because why the heck would you tell me to do it if you didn't know what I felt? And it says in Hebrews, so you know what I'm saying? That's the benefit of reading the Bible, if you're going to talk about it, is that at least, I mean, not everybody's going to agree on the interpretation, but at least you can have a reason for why you interpret it the way you do. So, at any rate, it says that he was all points tempted in every way that a person is tempted. So that means that in any situation that I find myself in where I feel like I'm under temptation, and that can mean not like temptation like, oh, I want to drink or, you know, what's it called, fornicate or something like that. But just like anything, like get annoyed about traffic when it's like just nothing but traffic, or get bothered with people because they do this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, oh yeah, man. I mean, Jesus did flip over the money tables, as I've mentioned before, cried, and all these other things. So I'm just going to be like, man, look, I'm not going to feel ashamed of my human experience at all. And I'm going to see that as a way of connecting to Christ, not as a way of distancing myself from Christ. So if you feel like you can't approach Christ, or you can't approach the idea of Christ because I'm talking to the people who like, well, I'm not good enough. Man, if you got all kinds of problems, you probably can connect them better than anybody else. Because it said all points tempted in every way that a person's tempted. So if you feel all this stuff, understand that you're probably in solidarity with Christ in that moment if you can acknowledge that you feel that, but he felt that too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just putting that out there for you guys because I think that you guys need to know that. I mean, those of you who give a hoot, you know, should know that what connects you to Christ is not this like superpower, magic, whatever stuff, but the very humanity that disturbs you about yourself is probably what can make you so much closer to him. I mean, I'm sure that there's people whose relationships are a lot closer to Christ than mine by the very virtue that they have come to terms with their own temptations and their own weaknesses. And as I said before, and Paul points out that God's strength is made perfect in weakness, man. So it's like, if you are weak, there's this great opportunity to be perfected, because you are actually, if you're able to acknowledge that and then know that like in those weaknesses, God can just get in, man. He can get in all those little cracks and crannies and nooks and all that other stuff if you allow it. And, you know, anyway, I'm putting that out there.